All right, this is Adam Kirschneider from Arrow KBs, and I'm here to tell you how I do winter in southeast Michigan, where the snow flies, even in November. All right, hi, this is... Oh, that's not the best spot. Let's try this again. All right, hi, this is Adam Kirschneider with Arrow KBs. And now that we're in September, halfway through September, I'm already thinking about winter. So this here is just a single box and a bottom board, and I'm going to show you a few of the things that I do for winter preps. Well, one of the first things that I do for winter preps, and I'll show you a little closer, is I put on entrance reducers. And see how I have 1/2-inch hardware cloth there? That 1/2-inch hardware cloth works as a mouse guard. And I know some people out there are going to say that that's too big, that a mouse can fit through there. It might be true, but I've never had one go through. Another thing I do, this is just cheap foam. It's like $12 a sheet. I did buy some more expensive pink foam, but it's 1.5 inches. And I put the foil side going towards the inside. And when I'm all set up for winter, that will be foam on top. Research that I've seen says the biggest thing, and I agree, that you can do to help your hives is that foam on top. I do some other things as well. So one thing I do, and it depends, I have these right here. These are falling apart. They're feeder shims. Actually, on this one I used an old dresser to make it. It's got a little hole for the entrance, upper entrance, and it has this. So I can make a sugar board. So I have to start now. It takes, for those sugar boards, it takes quite a while for them to harden. So I put this on, and this would be about 1 inch of sugar over the whole hive. But I don't put this on until end of October, beginning of November. So they'll sit with the foam, and that's it. Another thing, another option that I do if I don't put a sugar board on, this is a Vivaldi type board, but I make them myself, so they're a little odd in their sizing. In this one, I have this inside. So it's like an inner cover. It's got the hole like in an inner cover. And this, I pack with sugar, so it's got 1 inch of sugar. And this would cover up that hole. And again, I don't put this on until November, end of October, beginning of November. Now see, here's an upper entrance, and I know a lot of people will talk about the whole condensing hive thing or whatever. I tip my hives forward, and it seems to work. Sometimes I might put, if I'm doing this, I might put a piece of Reflectix and then the foam, but it's not consistent. Now I do on about half of my hives, I end up putting tar paper on. Usually the ones that I'm more concerned with, I'll put tar paper, or I'll push 3 or 4 hives together where they're touching, and then I'll put the tar paper. I also keep some hives on pallets. I have about 6 hive pallets, 4-way pallets, and I do tarp those just to, because I figure the 4 of them creates a nice windbreak with the tar paper. It's a waste of tar paper. I throw it away in the spring. I don't reuse it, but it seems to do something. The big thing is, right now, I am making sure they're all up to weight. So out of my 50 plus hives, I have probably 7 or 8 of them that I'm feeding in September. We're in a strong flow right now, but the problem is the hives that are weak, sending bees out to collect all that goldenrod honey is going to have less bees covering brood, and I want them to get up to strength and size. And so by feeding them, I'm encouraging more bees to stay in the hive. I've also taken those weaker hives and I've reduced the entrances on those, and they're actually doing pretty fantastic. So I did have one hive go queenless, and I just shook it out and let the bees go to other hives. It had been since August that I've been messing with it, trying to get it to requeen itself, and it had diminished. The bees that were left will only live a few more weeks anyway, but they'll probably strengthen some of those weak hives in the interim. So that is my plan. I usually get 80% or better survival rate on my hives in a Michigan winter. We usually get 1 or 2 days that are below zero. In my lifetime, I've seen -20 in this area, but it's pretty rare. We had a few years with those polar vortexes where it was hitting -16, -12, -20, but we haven't had that in a few years. But usually you get a few -degree days. I know because my old house used to have a pipe that would get frosty on -1, -2 day. So then come November, right before I put the winter configuration on with the Vivaldis or the feeders, I'm going to give them one last shot of oxalic acid. I cannot impress on you enough the importance of getting your mite population down. And actually in the middle of September, if you're just now thinking about mites, you're way behind the 8 ball. Because I started thinking about mites in July, and I treated in June, I treated in the beginning of August, and 4-round treatments with oxalic acid. And I know some people don't prefer oxalic acid, but it's actually the cheapest way to treat, a little time consuming, but I've had great results with it. And so I did another 4-round, or my 4-round treatment in August ended just before September. I'm going to do a one hit it once in October and then once in November and be done with it. And I think they're going to be pretty strong. All right, so, and because of our gangbusters goldenrod flow, they're in middle of September. Usually I just start feeding now, but they're almost all up to winter weight. If we have any little bit of a flow, they'll keep storing that and be fine for winter. I've actually had to move frames around to give them more room because they were getting honey bound there. It's crazy. I pulled my last honey from them before August 15th, and it's been a good strategy this year. So good luck to you in your winter. Again, mites, and the top insulation. Can't recommend it enough. I do have a long hive with thicker walls that does well. It's my wife's hive actually, but this normal Langstroth configuration, usually 2 deeps, and then the top works for me. Thank you. Arrow KBs, Adam Kirschenheiter.